All right, welcome to Monday. I do apologize for not being able to get a video out for you to, for last night. I was actually out of the office on Friday due to a huge snowstorm we had here in Michigan. I had like 13 inches, so I was kind of snowed in, kind of working from home, but wasn't able to do a video. Let me just go through that SSO trade that I've been outlining for you guys and gals for the last week since this big drop-off of the market, okay? So let's take a real close look at that. So remember, the strategy was 3 entries as long as the 2-bar RSI closed below 10, and our first took place right in here. So I'm going to use my marker. I've got the numbers written down, and I'll write those, okay? So the first one was right here, first close below 10, right? Now, that was a price of 116, okay? A closing price of 116.06. Then the following day, the market really tanked, closed below 10 as well, right? And that price was 106. Look at that whole 10 points, 106.63. And then the third time it actually closed below was right here, right? Right here, which was Thursday of last week, right? This is Friday and this is today, right? And that close was at 101.14, all right? And when I first mentioned this strategy, I said a third, and a third. And that's fine. What I typically do is, and I showed you this last week, was, so let's just assume you were doing $10,000 worth of this trade. The first entry here, you would have put 2,000 into it, right? So, how many shares you buy, you go to divide the price, right? So it was 116.06 into 2,000. That gives you how many shares that you could buy, okay? The second entry would have been 3,000, right? So again, 3,000 divided into $106.63, right? The closing price. And that's what that would have given you X amount of shares. And then our last entry right here would have been 5,000 worth. So 5,000 divided into $101.14. That would give you how many shares you would have traded. Okay? So I typically I average down, but with more. So I have exact rules, right? So it's 3 entries. So again, 2, 3, and 5. So percentage-wise, you go 20%, 30%, and 50% for whatever value you're going to give it, okay? So but just work this on 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3, okay? So I did the math. So basically, if you followed the rules and you exited everything today because it closed above 55 rather, it closed at 64.26, then if you take, the 116, 106, 114, it closed today at 107.03, okay, 107.03, okay? So essentially this position here, you'd have lost $9.03. This position, the second one, you would have only made 40 cents, all right? And the last one, you would have made $5.89. And if you did it equal, third, and third, you basically would have lost $2.74. Doesn't seem like much, right? Considering how the market just tanked, right? But look at where we found support, right at that 200 moving average too. So I think Friday was it a reversal? Is this a dead cat bounce? Is it going to come back down and retest? I'm not really too sure about that. I don't know. But I would be looking, if I were you, look at the Fibonacci retracements, okay, from the highest high to Friday's low. And you can see here that today traded up through that 38.2% retracement, barely, right? It hit it. That price was, on the SSO, 108.29. Look at where we rallied to, 108.42, close at 107.04. So those are big numbers, and again, for those of you that have listened to me for a while or are a student of mine, you know that I'm a big advocate using Fibonacci retracements because it gives us really, really good areas in which to look to potentially enter the market, right? So if you were looking to short this market on this bounce, thinking that we had totally changed over from uptrend to downtrend, which technically, I guess the short-term trend is down, obviously, but we need to really look at that 200 moving average right here. And look at, again, we penetrated it on Friday, but we rallied considerably from when it hit that and penetrated down through it to closing right up in here. And then today, we followed through by trading up through Friday's high and closing higher. So that, in a sense, is bullish for sure. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens tomorrow. What I'm really looking for is that 50% retracement. Okay, if we can bounce up to that 50%, let's say tomorrow or the next day, then I would be putting on some light positions to the short side. Okay, but so again, back to the example on the third, and third, you would have lost $2.74 on that by doing an equal third here, right? Hold on, and then I got some other things I want to go through. So a third here, a third here, and a third here. You would have lost $2.74. But if you had done the averaging more down, like 2,000, 3,000, and 5,000, or 20%, 30%, and 50% on whatever dollar value that you wanted to trade, you'd have actually about broke even, maybe you made a little bit of money because it came up so much from that third entry. So enough about that. Let's talk about, I know this all, okay, well, I want to talk about Tesla and SBAC because I believe these are two setups that you could look to trade tomorrow. Again, I've liked Tesla for a while. We got a lot of these bounces up on the options, just straight out call options about 2 months out from whenever you're putting the trade. I mean, we had a bunch of trades here, 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 every time it came back. Okay, now look at Friday again. Friday came all the way down, came real close to testing this low, and bounced higher. Today we've got an inside bar, right? Lower high than Friday's high and a higher low. So my trigger to look to enter call options, and it's February, but I'm going to April at the money. So I need to see a penetration up through 318.08 to a minimum of 318.28. Once I see that on an intraday basis, then I'm looking to buy the at the money April call options, looking for a bounce up. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on Tesla. Really the same thing for SBAC. SBA Communications, okay? Again, Friday came down through two lows and reversed. And we see this on a lot of markets, obviously, what happened on Friday, okay? But right here, right, so specifically I'm looking at this low, right, and this low, came down through it, bounced all the way up in here. Today we have some indecisions by getting that inside bar. So if we're able to penetrate up through, remember, not a gap up, but a trade up through the high, which today's high was 161.72. So I'd like to see the market break up through 162. So 20 cents up from 161.72 is 161.92. So I'd like to see that round number of 162 penetrated. Once I see that, I'll be looking to buy call options, April call options at the money. Or in the money, okay? Or a couple strikes lower than that even, okay? Either or. And if you tend to be a little bit more aggressive and maybe make a little bit more on the trade, you'd go out of the money. So up here, right? A little bit. It's up to you. But those are the two trades, SBAC and Tesla. Good trade setups. And again, I like the SBAC. Look at, we're oversold. The 2-bar RSI is actually below 10, and we got an inside vertical bar. Okay, so that's a really nice setup. Let's see Tesla. Tesla's not quite. But if you take a look closely on the RSI troughs, right? Troughs, boom. These three troughs. And if you look at the lows that correspond to those troughs, you've got massive, massive bullish divergence, right? Equal troughs to slightly higher, and you've got lower lows in price. That's telling you the market wants to try to go higher. So again, it'll be very interesting to see if tomorrow tries to back and fill a little bit. And when I say back and fill, meaning, look at, the market has gotten killed in the last week and a half, right? We all know that volatility has increased. What I mean by back and fill is, do we start coming back down again? Okay, I mean we close here. This is the lowest low that we've seen on an intraday basis. are we going to back and fill? Are we going to try to come back down and try to retest this low one more time? I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I wish I had that crystal ball. Have a great evening. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Bye for now.